Welcome to the Child Care Business Professionals Podcast. I'm Evelyn Knight. I hope everybody is having a beautiful day. If you've already been to your center, I hope you got to play with lots of kids today and get some hugs. If you haven't been to your center, or maybe you're not going there today, make sure next time you're there to just take some time and get some hugs. Just love on those kids. They're really what makes our job wonderful. No matter how bad my day is, I know I can go into a classroom and just watching them, talking to them will just make me smile. My boys are 15 and 20 now, and so I miss those days when they were little and I could get those hugs. But that's one of the best parts of our job. No matter how old our own children get, we still always get to be around those little children that are still so full of innocence. My next opportunity is going to be when I become a grandma, and I cannot wait to become a grandma. But you did not come here today to listen to me talk about how I fantasize of becoming a grandma one day. So I will get into the content for today. Today, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about why it matters to have a high quality center. Something that I'm going to focus a lot about. And when I was first starting out, I was really scared. I didn't think I could afford to have a high quality center because you have to have the materials, the staffing, the ratios are a lot harder to meet. So I was really scared, and I did not think that I could achieve high quality standards. If you've listened to my other episodes already, you've heard me refer to QRIS. QRIS stands for the Quality Rating and Improvement System. And it is coming to most states in the United States. They basically go into your center just like an accreditation body would, and they rate you. You do have a period of time, like for us here in Nevada, we have coaches for a period of time that come in and help us to improve. When we started with the QRIS program, I had my doubts, I have to say. I was really skeptical. I thought we were running a really solid program within the budget constraints that I had set up for my center. So when you first start with QRIS, they come in and do a preliminary rating for you. And my center came in at barely 2 stars. The star system that they use is a 5-star. It's very similar to hotels. So think of it in those terms. I was pretty devastated. And when I looked at the standards they wanted, I thought there is no way I can do this. I can't afford to run a 1-to-4 ratio in my infant room. So one of the examples of why I thought this was just undoable for me was in my largest center at the time, my infant room was licensed for 21 children, and they were telling me that I could not have more than 8 babies in that room. So I actually capped the room at 16 at the time. We did have 21 at one point, but the quality was just horrible. We could not keep up. It was just really awful. So we had shaved it down to 16, and I thought we were doing pretty good. But the thought of going to 8, all I could see was the money I was going to lose. And at that time, I was already really struggling just to make ends meet. I personally was making no money. I was the director, taking 0 pay as the director and the owner. And so my staff at that point is making more money than I am. And I'm thinking to myself, and you're telling me I have to shave 8 children out of my infant room? And that's just the one room. Every room, basically, they're telling me I have to shave children out of. I just didn't think it was possible. I thought the program was a farce, and I really just kind of wrote it off mentally for a little while. But I had an amazing coach that was sent to us, and we were really, truly blessed. She was awesome. And she really just showed me how to do it. Thank goodness she had actually also been a director and had a lot of experience. She knew what my complaints were. She had worked along with an owner pretty closely. So she was prepared to combat my apprehensions. And she convinced us to give it a try and basically helped us out. At the time, I was also working with my financial advisor, and I will probably do a whole episode about my financial advisor and how she completely turned around my business. But between our coach and my financial advisor, things started to really change. And both of them separately started helping me to realize that skimping on things is what was causing me to have major financial difficulties in my center. I can tell you my financial advisor, if she listens to this, she'll kind of be thinking, okay, wait a second, you got to explain that a little bit deeper. It's the justifiable cost of goods and staffing that help to make me money in the long run. Those are okay to spend money on, basically. And I was at the point where I was afraid to do it. And my fear of spending money on being a quality center was actually crippling my center. It was making us a 2-star center. So I decided to give it a shot. I decided, okay, we're going to try this. I'm going to do what my QRIS coach and my financial advisor is telling me to do. I'm going to give this a shot. And by the way, just I know that some of you out there who are struggling, this just seems totally unrealistic. My financial advisor had also helped me shave things out of my budget in order to help me bring up the quality standards. We pretty much got rid of certain things and were able to pick up others. So anyway, getting back to the main story, we did it. I did all but one classroom. I went to the group sizes that QRIS wanted. I increased my staff training, and we really increased the staff training. And more importantly, we increased staff coaching. Luckily, in Nevada, when you sign up for QRIS, it comes with some pretty nice grants. So we were able to get a lot of supplies for my classrooms, and we really turned the center around. So after our 2 years of coaching, we finally got our rating, and we actually scored high enough to be a 5-star center. But in Nevada, you have to be NAEYC accredited in order to achieve the 5 stars. So we were awarded 4 stars, which I am thrilled about. So let me tell you now a little bit about what that has done for my center. Before we made these quality changes, we struggled for enrollment like most centers do. I was advertising, I had billboards, a lot of Facebook ads, whatever I could do. And it was the same thing. We just struggled for enrollment. Now that our quality is so high, I have over 200 children on my wait list. We do not have that problem at all anymore. And now we literally have people knocking at our door. Last spring, I actually had a family offer to pay me $500 in cash to put their child to the top of our wait list, which was pretty cool. Just for me personally, they were really just determined to get into my center. Although my centers had a wait list for a while, that was still just such an amazing feeling, having someone try to offer me cash to get their child into my center. It just filled my heart. And I can tell you that it was that quality shift that made all the difference in the world for us. The other thing it's really improved is parents are actually really scared to leave us. They know if they leave, they're not getting back in. So I no longer have people trying to leave just for a month here and there, or school teachers. I still allow my school teachers to leave, especially the ones who have been with me for a couple of years. But the ones that are newer to the center that haven't been with me for more than like 9 months, we do not save their spots. So now they're actually staying throughout the summer, even if their children aren't with us every day. So that has really helped us out too, just creating that urgency. Having that wait list has really just been a blessing for us. And it really didn't come from advertising. It's coming from word of mouth. People just want to get into my center. And you guys, I also have to tell you that I live in a very small town. So the center I'm talking about is actually in a small rural Nevada town that's about an hour outside of Reno and only has about 20,000 people. So it's not like we are actually fishing from a big pool of customers. Okay, guys, so I have to let you guys know, if this sounds a little choppy, my dog keeps barking in the background. I have a puppy, and so I have to keep stopping the recording, going back and taking her out and starting over again. So I'm sorry if it sounds a little choppy. So the next area that the quality has really improved for us is our staffing. Our higher quality standards have helped my staff with their pride in their work. They are now really proud of their jobs, and they really take so much more pride in the work that they do that we get higher quality work out of them. They're just more motivated. They almost brag about working for us, and they tend to stick with us. I've always actually had really good employee retention. So I can't say that that's improved it, but it has definitely helped with just the type of work I see coming out of them. And not only are they better trained, but they enjoy their work more now. The other thing is that the reason high quality is because it works. It's what's best for the children. So the children become easier. The higher standards you have for your staff and your center, the children actually become a lot easier to manage. When your numbers are lower, your staff is better trained, and you have the proper equipment, the behavior issues that children exhibit start to disappear. And when they don't disappear, they're easier to manage because your staff have the tools that they need to manage those behavior issues. So a lot of the typical issues that I used to think were just center issues, and I've always seen them in preschools, started to actually go away. Because a really well-trained staff can see problems before they start. So they prevent them from happening. So it's a matter of being proactive instead of reactive, which in turn makes your classrooms much easier to work in, much more organized, and they just flow so much better. So I think that's also what has helped my staff being just more satisfied with their jobs and performing better, because the classrooms honestly are easier now that we do have these high quality standards and the trainings and whatnot. The other thing that happened with staffing is the high quality standards and holding my staff to those standards actually really cleaned my staff up for me. It has helped to get rid of the staff that I really didn't need. I might have thought I needed, but those people who aren't just really willing to do the work and they're just clock in, clock out employees and really aren't dedicated to the children, they ended up filtering themselves out. It was really nice. At first, it was difficult for me, I have to say. I lost people that had actually worked for me for a few years, and that was very hurtful to me. But now that I can look back at it in retrospect, I realize that even though I really liked those people as people, they were really dead weight on my center. And getting rid of them was liberating for my center, and it really improved the quality. I think sometimes as owners and directors, we get so caught up on personality and we like this person a lot that we stop seeing who they are and what they're not getting done. But now that I've been able to replace some of those people, I can see where I'm better off now. And I can really see where that dead weight has been shaved off. So don't be too discouraged. As you improve your quality and your center gets better, you are going to lose people, but those are people that you needed to lose anyway. The other area that is probably most exciting for owners and is awesome for directors is that I have actually been able to raise my rates significantly. Since I'm in a rural area, I cannot charge the same as the city closest to us. And on average, I was charging about $75 a week less than the biggest city close to me. But since our quality has improved, I have actually been able to bridge that gap. Now I'm only about $35 a week away from what the Reno centers are charging. And that has been huge for me. My center is actually licensed for 130 children, but we average about 100 a day. So imagine being able to increase your rates by about $25 per week per child. It has really been a game changer for us. The last thing I'm going to talk about today is how improving our quality actually helped us to get a lot of grants and different types of contracts with things like early intervention services and different organizations. That's something I really didn't anticipate. We are now offered so many different grants and incentives throughout the year that I hardly have to buy any replenishment toys or supplies and furniture out of our own pocket. I literally get phone calls probably every quarter with a different organization telling me about some kind of grant they have or some kind of incentive that they have that we have qualified for because of our efforts for improving quality in this field. Even though that isn't like an income stream, what it has done for us is provided us with materials so that we don't have to purchase them out of our budget. An example of what happens is I will get a phone call from an organization and they will tell me that we have been nominated for a grant. For example, the grant might be for $500 worth of Lakeshore products. And all I have to do is go onto Lakeshore, pick out $500 worth of products, email it to this organization, and in a month, I get those products in the mail. What that has done is it's made it so that I don't have to buy that stuff anymore. And I usually use it to purchase things like puzzles, manipulatives, maybe like block people or even blocks, those products that we have to replace every year anyway. And last year, we actually got about, I can't remember for sure off the top of my head, but it was somewhere between $7,000 to $10,000 worth of materials and supplies. What they don't ever get us, though, just as a side note, is like paper, crayons, nothing usually that is consumable. But anything that isn't, I have gotten bookshelves, you guys, and light tables. It's really cool and not a normal way that you would think you would actually get an income from improving your quality. But that is, in a roundabout way, a way to increase your income.
Bottom line is I cannot say enough about quality, and I can't stress to you how much it will improve your business altogether. For me personally, it really has lifted a lot of weight off my shoulders. I no longer have the stress I used to have. I still have stress, of course. As a business owner, we will always have stress, but it's not nearly as bad as it used to be, and I don't feel as hopeless anymore. I also feel really good about what we're doing for the children now. I thought our quality was good before this, but I was so fixated on the money at the time and not having enough that I blinded myself to what the condition that my center really was in. So I just really encourage you to embrace that change and really look at your center from a different perspective. Maybe bring someone in from the outside who can come in and give you an objective view of how things really look. If you're an owner and you're at the point that I was at where I was just afraid to spend money because things just look so grim, I can tell you guys that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I hope that is just one thing I really get through to you guys overall through all of these episodes in this podcast that I'm doing, is that it doesn't have to be that way. For years, I was stuck in that mindset. If you're a director who's been trying to convince the owner that you need to improve quality, or maybe you have an owner that is in the position I was in and they just feel desperate and broke, have them listen to this podcast. Refer them to this podcast because I will be focusing a lot of my attention on that. And really, my goal is to help people get out of that situation. And if you're not in that situation, but just want to improve quality, I also really just want to help bring up the quality in early childhood education and help educate the public on what quality looks like. That is another thing we'll be diving deep into. I'm also going to include a link to my financial advisor's website. I always also have a link for her on my personal website. So check her out. She is worth every dime. She's really taught me how to be a business person and how to see myself as a professional. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. I really hope you'll come back, but I just want to keep it real. So come back again and listen to my other podcasts, and in the comments let me know again what you like, what you didn't like. Since I'm new at this, I definitely need the suggestions, and let me know what other topics you would like me to go over. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to this podcast on iTunes and let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments. You can also tell me what subjects you would like me to address for future episodes. And one last thing, I would really appreciate a 5-star review. Don't forget to check out all the great resources on my website, www.childcarebusinessprofessionals.com.